Yeah, this should be like my last episode where I'm in a random location because I do have basic stuff to get out.
You got good stuff, normal stuff.
Getting started. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Collecting Keys. I'm Mike DeHaan here with Dan Austin. No Dylan today because he is on vacation, which good for him.
No Dill,
by the way. So that was like the first vacation that he's taken since his kid was born. He's now almost 2, I think. So that's a long time to just be sitting around.
I know.
Especially because I think I've taken 5 trips since my son was born. He's not even a year yet. So
yeah, it can be challenging, especially with work schedules, because I know his wife still works and he obviously grinds. So that thrown into the bunch with a baby and not being sure. Dylan doesn't strike me as not that he doesn't travel, because he travels, but he doesn't strike me as a person that necessarily prioritizes that outside of other things that he prioritizes. He's part of his golf. Ugh.
That's his all.
And he's like good at it too. Yeah. He told me when he was shooting, I was like, damn, okay, you're like good.
Yeah. I mean,
shot a 79 last week.
Here's how I know golf isn't that hard is because I know a lot of guys that shoot that way. Right.
Yeah, it's true.
It means if you play enough, you're going to get decent. Sure. It's hard to be like the best in the world, but if you can get to like close to par, just like being a kind of a casual player, it means it's a really generally pretty easy game.
Bro, I'll tell you what though, the level of fucked up my back is right now from trying to be a golfer is, dude, like I have to go to the doctor. Like it's that bad. And I don't have back issues. It's like to the point to where I can't barely get out of bed.
Well, you said you went to like a driving range with your daughter, right? So you're just trying to hit the ball hard, probably.
And so I'm trying not to hit the ball hard is the thing. I'm trying to hit the ball well. But yeah, for not the last 2 weeks, obviously, because fires and now I'm not in Spokane, but like the 4 weeks prior to that, my daughter has Thursday night practice. So I'll go and get a bucket of balls, go to the range, hit them. I haven't been like, I tweaked my back. Nothing like that. Back doesn't hurt while I'm doing it. Nothing like that. But then like slowly it just like crept up to where like bending over is like an issue. And I don't have a bad back, right? Like I'm not some like broken ass dude. And so I'm like, this is stupid. Like it's not even, what? It's not even worth it, dude.
To be careful, probably got injured playing golf because that's super embarrassing. It's like, when you hear these guys that they like tear their ACL, like stepping off a curb. It's like, no, dude, you got to tell them that you were doing something cooler than that. You can't tell the truth.
It wasn't even like cool. It wasn't even like I like was driving the ball though. And like, like you see some dude like, I tweaked my back. None of that. It was just like over time, my body can't sustain it's just such a rugged sport. My body can't handle it. It's a wear and tear thing.
Rugged sport. Thank God. Yeah, if you're John Daly, Mr. Mullet and smoking ciggy, the man's man right there. So.
Dude, I'm so conflicted because like I've talked to you about, the country club up kind of where we live. I guess is it a country club? I don't know. It's a golf club. Whatever you call Kalispell. It's like a golf. It's mostly a golf course, but then they have, kind of facilities and stuff like that. It's a club for, middle class white people. Anyways, like they offered, like they're like, yeah, we'll probably call you this fall because it's like a 250 person waiting list, which is long for Spokane. And they bumped me up to like the top and said, we'll call you this fall. And honestly, though, I'm like, hey, my back hurts. So I'm like, I don't know like that. I would want to join a golf club to be around golfers. And then also, sorry to my golfers out there, but like when I sit there at the country club and having dinner, because I have a decent little restaurant there, it's nothing crazy, but it's a decent little like spot for near our house. And I look at a lot of people playing golf. I'm like, ugh, I want to associate with you.
Why?
Just like, like the type, right?
Well,
like
I know what you're saying, but everyone's listening to an audio podcast. So you can't completely isolate 90% of our audience and then not.
Okay. You know what? Let me explain why. Because first of all, I will say this. I enjoy being on the golf course. I actually like any outdoor hobby, like stuff like I don't hunt, but I've gone hunting with people without a gun because I just like going outdoors and like being with people and doing dude stuff and being around, having good conversations. So the golf course is like an opportunity for that. And you can like slug beers. And so it is kind of fun. Like then I just see like the random dude there on like a Tuesday. Like we were there like a month ago, maybe like on a Tuesday night. And there's like guys out there like at, 6 o'clock on a Tuesday, like practicing their putting and playing their game. They're there Saturday for sure for 5 hours playing with their bros. And I'm like, you're away from your family doing this silly little sport at multiple times a week. And like, it just, to me, I don't know. It just seems so silly. And then this isn't like ubiquitous, but a lot of golf courses, the people playing on the golf course and then the people working on the golf course are like assholes. And I'll give you a good example. I was literally driving around one of the city courses in Spokane with the golf pro there, like the guy that people know is like the guy, right? And two people tried chewing his ass, and he was giving my daughter and me and my wife like a tour of the golf course and kind of showing my daughter like, hey, here's the tees you'll start from, and just giving her a kind of a lay of what it's our first time being on a golf course. He was kind of giving us like a little special tour.
Yeah, and your daughter's 7 too. I just want to emphasize because you're out there with like a small child.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, a small child. We're in a golf cart, clearly not even playing. Like we don't have nothing. And dudes are like, two different people like tried literally chewing his ass for not having proper golf etiquette because he was driving not on the fairway, but near the fairway. And I was like, oh my God, dude, this is a great introduction for my daughter. Yeah, right. Some like 27-year-old bro trying to yell at this golf pro for not having golf etiquette and telling him he doesn't know how to be on a golf course. Yeah. Like this dude used to be a professional golfer.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And now your daughter's going to be like terrified of other people out there.
Right. So that's my reasoning why I'm like, I don't know, man, this is too much.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of hobbies that are like that. I mean, there's anything that's sort of like trendy. So like I play a lot of pickleball. And there's guys that are like that with pickleball too, that, they go to like the 2-hour open play sessions every single day. Right. And then after that, they drill for like an hour and they do all these different things. I'm like, I know you got kids. You told me about them.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing here? Like the entire evening you're here from like 5 to 8. You're obviously neglecting something. But
and your wife is like single parenting. Maybe maybe they have like trade-offs. Like he gets to do that and his wife has like a tennis coach she hangs out with. I don't know.
But there's also like fitness people are like that, that are out there across the gym for 2 hours every single day. There's people that are like skiers. They're like, oh, I got to travel around and ski. My wife and kids don't come, but I'm going to go helicopter ski with all my buddies, 6 times a year.
Right.
Like I would say for most people, that's their priorities, right? Because they're, working their standard jobs and doing whatever. I feel like the entrepreneurial sort of mindset, it's easier to sort of like see that and be like, I feel like they're not prioritizing their time correctly, but I think they just prioritize it differently than we do because we are doing stuff that we actually care about.
Yeah.
So
it's like people maybe are trying to disconnect from like their normal life and just have their space and like that, which is, I get it. Like I sure understand that, but I don't know. I feel like you're right. As like when you're doing it more from the entrepreneur standpoint, you're probably an entrepreneur because you care more about how you integrate your lifestyle like every single day. And granted, those days where you're grinding and you do need a break, right? Because that's just the nature of life. But I think of things more in terms of like, oh, I'm super stoked to do that with my kids or teach my son how to do this. And he's not going to always be able to go skiing with me at the mountain, but I'm going to probably ski with him while I teach him and he grows. And then maybe eventually him and I will go to the top of the mountain. But it's like, you kind of have to take a step. I feel like taking a step back on my hobbies and integrating them into those hobbies. And then if they pick up new hobbies, like, then we'll do it. Like I always laugh because like our banker that Mike and I work with, his daughter is super into K-pop. And so I don't know if you know this, Mike, but she does like dance lessons, like singing lessons, like they're like super, like that's her hobby. And now he's just like on the freaking road with her.
Yeah, that's like, funny. I remember him telling us that when we went to lunch not too long ago. But
yeah, he's so like, you know what I mean? So sometimes that's your cue.
Yeah. Really quick, what are you playing with?
My son's Legos.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think when we don't have the good mics, we're picking this stuff up. Yeah, this will be last mic for last night for like shitty audio podcast. Hopefully here shortly we'll be figuring stuff out because I'm back in Spokane dealing with all the fire stuff and the necessary steps. And I would say the good thing about when you have these kind of situations like your house burning a wildfire, you learn a lot about different industries really quickly. Like I've learned so much about like how insurance actually works and how to actually like read insurance policies and different things, especially after talking to like some of my neighbors who are getting completely wrecked by their insurance policies. And ours was actually apparently pretty good because we're getting a lot. And like for me to like find housing and all sorts of stuff has been incredibly easy. And I've talked to a lot of people who have like some of these big like State Farm and Liberty Mutual. They hadn't even gotten calls back yet. The fire was almost 2 weeks ago now. And they have spoken to nobody.
And mind you, they had like gigantic RV buses with State Farm and Allstate and stuff on it. Like they came to the fire disaster location. You could see them in town. Yeah. That's funny because I've learned a ton just from looking at it from our standpoint of protecting ourselves as a lender. But like a couple of years ago, because like you and I have had insurance issues where we probably didn't have the best policies. And they're like, oh, you didn't opt for this Airbnb insurance? Like, no, I didn't know I needed to. Like, why didn't you tell me that? Like, oh, so you can't have loss of use?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like now that I've experienced such a loss, it's completely changed my view on insurance. Cause like for most people, like insurance is a scam. Like what do you pay for? You don't use it. Plus, all of a sudden when you do need to use it in such an extreme situation, I'm so grateful that we paid more for the policy that we had, because like our total coverage for everything is like immense.
Yeah.
Our policy alone was 125% of like the house's value.
Yeah.
Right. So that's super high. And then essentially all of the personal items and stuff that we had, the policy that we had, it was a current market value policy. So basically, if we bought something like 10 years ago, what a lot of insurance policies will do is they'll depreciate it and they'll be like, oh, well, that couch that's 10 years old, you get $0 for that. Instead, we get full replacement costs at current market value, right? So we're going to be able to recover essentially all the expenses for everything in our house. And like the amount of money, like the cost difference for that, like realistically, I would say we're probably going to be getting close to $500,000 more of payout potential with everything.
That's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
But like the actual monthly difference versus some of the other policies that people have had are like less than $200 a month, but you get $500,000 upside. And I'm like, if you make like real money, pay the extra $2,400 a year, because like when something bad happens, which you never expected to happen to you, but it does. I went to fucking brunch and just never went home because my house got on fire. It's definitely worth it at that point. So, it's been interesting going through, kind of like digging through everything and sort of like seeing what's actually salvageable and what's not. And so my wife's, you're going to appreciate this story, Dan. My wife's office was the room that caught on fire. You've been up there, you've seen it. And like everything in there is freaking destroyed, right?
It's all black and melted.
Yeah.
Whatever's in there.
Yeah. Everything in there is pretty much melted. But I've been up there several times since, and I've started to dig through, and some of the stuff that survived has been really interesting. And so some of the like little odds and ends have been pretty good. Like my wife had like a drone, just like a little like personal drone that was in like a protective case that's like completely fine on the inside. Some of that sort of stuff.
Like in the office?
In the office. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like that was totally fine. And then some of the stuff, like if it was like under a certain amount of things, like stuff on the outside we burned, but like underneath it, there's actually more in there that's probably salvageable than we realized.
Oh, nice.
But the really interesting one is, so when we went to Cambodia a couple of years ago, my wife bought this little pouch, like from some street vendor, and it had like elephants and stuff on it. It was like they painted it, but it was a pouch that was originally, it was like basically recycled packing material for concrete. So like they would have like raw concrete and they would basically just cut up the bag. And it's like, yeah, we'll paint this and sell this to tourists, and just little catch thing. But she would keep her money from her art markets in like her cash. And when the fire happened, she was like, damn, she's like, I had like several $1,000s in money that I never deposited.
Yeah.
And so when I went up there, she was like, so, oh, like I was asking her if there's anything that she wanted me to try and recover. And she was like, well, I doubt it's there, but you should see if my money like somehow survived. And so it was like literally like where the fire started, this whole thing. So it was like tucked in, like right by her desk, like where the fire started to. And I went and I was digging through and I found the bag. Okay. And the zipper like was all melted. This thing is completely destroyed.
Of course. Yeah.
And I was able to like basically cut it open, and inside was about $3,000 completely untouched.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Like perfect.
That's amazing.
There was $1 that was basically burnt, which was the one that was like on top of like all the other dollars. Right. And it was a $1 bill that was basically sitting on top. And that one was completely black and burnt to a strip, but it had protected the $3,000 underneath it.
No shit.
I couldn't believe
That's
it.
amazing,
It's
dude.
so crazy.
You should go back to Cambodia and get a couple more of those pouches.
I know.
They're fireproof.
Seriously. Like honestly, like the pouch is completely destroyed. Like it like was disintegrating, but it protected the stuff inside.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's crazy though. That pouch is disintegrated, but the money was still, that's crazy.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. And then the money stunk. I took it to the bank, and the teller was like, well, like it does technically have like damage. Like you might have to like send it into the treasury and all sort of stuff. And then the manager came out, and this is also why you have a relationship with your bank, by the way. I know the manager at like the local thing. She would see me in there all the time. And she comes out, she's like, oh my God, I didn't know your house was affected. She was like, we'll figure it out. Like, we'll just count all of it. We'll deposit it. We'll figure it out. I'm like, you're good. We'll get it sorted out for you.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So, which is pretty sweet. But yeah, just like,
that's funny.
The more we got through it, there's just like little stuff that we realized we've been able to save, but then there's also a ton of stuff that we're going to have to get rid of too. So yeah, I would say if you're ever in these situations though, whether it's for like a rental or a personal property, if there's such a significant loss like this, well, it's like a total, demolition pretty much. I've been working with our friend from GoBuns, who's a public adjuster. I'm so glad that we opted to work with him. Just from when I did like the initial walkthroughs, with both the insurance adjuster and the different mitigators and stuff because he speaks the language.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that the insurance company is going to try to screw you, right? That's no secret.
Yeah. And it's just part of the business, right? It's not like they're bad people. That's just what their job is to do.
Yeah. There is a like misaligned incentives. They want to pay you as little money as possible. And when you hire a public adjuster, they basically get compensated based on what they recover. So they want to get as much money as possible, right?
Yeah.
But when the insurance guy showed up, he's like, oh yeah, you can probably clean this, And David, our public adjuster, was like, oh, well, with code, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you actually have to replace this. And based on his policy, like you're required to do this and all this kind of stuff. I had no idea what any of these things meant, but like David had it locked down.
That's amazing, dude. I'm so stoked.
Yeah. And then like by the end of it, it went from basically the guy really not wanting to give us much to essentially he's agreed verbally at least to replace every single thing in our house except for like my wife and I's clothing, which she thinks can be cleaned, which might be valid at some point.
Yeah.
And then like even some of the extended stuff, like I didn't realize that we could get like as much as like $60,000 just for like landscaping and plants.
Oh, there you go.
Right.
Nice, dude.
And I guess if you don't ask for that, the insurance company won't offer it to you. But a lot of insurance policies will have that.
That's crazy. Of course they won't give it to you if you don't ask. That's funny.
Yeah. So just like a lot of those things, he like knew how to drive those conversations. And then as well as he was talking to mitigation companies and that sort of stuff, the first thing they show up is they go, oh, what do you need to do? And I'm like, well, I think this is what we got to do. And he was able to explicitly outline like how we need them to pack up everything, what we're going to need to be cleaned, how the demo needs to go, all the different stuff. And I was like, I can't imagine how you could get this right if you hadn't done it before.
Yeah. Yeah. How would you even know what to do? Like,
no idea.
You have to rely on your insurance company to tell you that.
Correct.
And of course, they're not going to tell you the best way. They're going to tell you the most cost effective way to do things.
Exactly. Yeah. Whatever they think they can do for the least amount of money. So so it's been a long few days out here kind of working on all that, but we have good progress.
Nice.
And optimistically hoping the house would be back up to speed in like 6 to 8 months for having to completely gut it down. But it's not an ideal situation, but just like everything else, if you are very proactive and you build a team around you that knows how to do stuff, I do think you can get it done correctly. Just most people, they just sort of try to like push it off. Or I was actually thinking about this today when I was driving around, is I'm so incredibly grateful that, I mean, our team's been crushing, which is awesome, but also the fact that I do work for myself so that I don't have to like check in with my boss or go to like an hour, an office or anything like that. That would make this impossible to try to deal with right now.
It'd be really hard, dude. Yeah.
Good motivation as well for people to figure out how to set your own schedule for when bad stuff happens.
It is important, dude. Like being able to like just do like, who was I just talking to about this? Like literally this morning, I was talking to somebody about it on the phone, like how like your mindset changes and like having the ability and the flexibility to kind of like move around and not just like financially have it, but actually have like that time flexibility. Like that is huge. Like just go do things that you need to get done or that you just need to do, Totally. Like me, go down to San Diego because you want to get out of the smoke while Mike digs through the ash of his life.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like over the past,
I can't handle this.
Yeah. Even over the past couple of days, as like the first mitigation company that I talked to last week, basically just ghosted me. So I started calling the other companies. Really? They're like, I don't know, like, as you imagine, we're so busy. And I just said to every single one, I was like, I am completely flexible. Give me a 15-minute heads up that somebody's going to come to my house and I will be there. And sure enough, I saw 8 different companies at my house over the last 2 days. And every single one was like, so a tech called me and they're like, hey, I have like a last minute cancellation about 20 minutes from your place. Can you meet me up there? And I was like, yeah,
do it.
So I just posted up at a coffee shop kind of near my house. And literally I would just wait and then I would just get calls all day for the last 2 days.
All day.
So I could go do that.
Honestly, too. And the way you're attacking it though. I mean, this is kind of your personality, that you're a quick start, but like just being on top of things and just saying, okay, this is my priority. Like everything else is important, obviously, but just attacking that, any problem set, like I told Mike the day his house burned down, I was like, well, the good thing is your headache. It's not like you're trying to solve someone else's headache. You know what I mean? You're solving your own headache. And so you can take full like ownership of it and crush it. And like, I think that helps in any tragic or shitty situation. You just got to take ownership of what's going on.
Totally. I'm more fortunate enough to have good enough sort of family dynamics that like my wife is just, back in Montana, just fully taken care of with our son over there and hanging out with grandparents and that kind of stuff. So I just do anything to figure this out. But
yeah. So are you guys like at threat of fire in Montana too, though? Like, isn't Montana half on fire? I mean, everything's half on fire in the Northwest, but like, there's a ton of fires over there too.
Yeah, not down near Bozeman where they're at. I think it's mostly up like along like near Canada.
Oh, okay. I thought there was some like near Missoula or something like that, but
there might be some around there. But that's still a good ways away.
That's true.
I don't know, dude. It's just a bad season for that throughout the like entire Northwest. It feels like
a rough year.
But either way, so that's moving forward, which is great. And the super. I know we talked about this the last week, but definitely can high five ourselves a little bit for how good the team has been, just continuing to run stuff. Because it's when I was on the call today, which is really the first time this week with like the full sales team. They've been so busy, and one of them was like, "Oh yeah, so like I'm tracking these for you. I've had like 3 loans close in the past couple weeks. You want me to just like tell you what the details are of those for basically your commission?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have no idea.
Sure. Yeah, update me.
Yeah, update me. Let me know. I'll make sure you get paid."
Yeah,
because the fact that we're having like loans closed and everything else without needing to be fully involved is pretty awesome.
Yeah, the team has been killing it. They've been doing good. It is an interesting thing because like we've built other businesses before, but when it comes to like doing the lending and stuff like there needs to be some level of like ownership from us, because at the end of the day, the buck stops with us. And when we get buybacks or anything like that, like it's on us. It's not on the employee. The employee has 0 stake in the game. We have 100% of everything in our net worth on the line whenever we kind of like do this stuff. And so it is like unnerving to see things flow without being like a thumb on every single thing. Mm-hmm. But you kind of have to, because you can only get, there only so many things can go through, me and you before you just have, that's the limit. There's only so many hours in the day. And like, if you're never going to do any more loans above that limit, then that's it. That's fine. But you have to let go of that and let the team kind of run through the system you built, and hopefully you did a good job building the system, because it'll catch, errors and issues.
Totally. And I think there's 2 pieces to that, right? Like there's the system piece, but there's also the fact that we've been very intentional about hiring staff that want to do a good job, right? Represent the company well and are bought in, and do enjoy working for us, especially a lot of our overseas folks. Like we've had some of them for years and years, so they've been through all kinds of ups and downs with us, and they, overseas people especially, they're always super grateful for like a level of consistency with their employment. And so they really want to do a good job, and our US staff has been awesome too, because they're just like have hired the kind of people that like want to do well. So I think that's always like the biggest concern that small business owners have, is they have trouble relaying, I guess, like passing off anything that's like sort of high consequence like that to staff, because they don't trust them. They don't think they'll do a good job. And I have 0 concern about that. And I would say the only time that any sort of like mistakes happen that could potentially be like a threat or an issue for us or the company are just because the system wasn't good around it. It's not a staffing issue at all, right? It's just because there was something that wasn't totally clear.
Exactly. Totally. And you can't be upset at an employee when the system or the process is not vetted out. We get like asked often from people, like especially as they're building their businesses, like, how do you hire those types of people? And, we've always said like hire fast, fire even faster. And I will also add to that is like employees can cost you a lot of money. So there's some element of that where that is true. But my answer to that question of like, how do you get those employees is you have to go out and find them. But the other part of that is like sometimes you got to hire shitty ones, because we've had multiple shitty employees that we've let go or have quit based on them not fitting in. And that just happens. And so if you have to hire 10 employees and one of them ends up being good, which is honestly probably a realistic ratio. If you're really intentional about interviewing and filtering down, say you bring in like 10, like, and you get 1 rock star, that's probably pretty good. And the problem is it's costly to you as a business owner, because it's not the fact that you're just like losing money or something like that, but you're losing time because you're putting effort and trying to build up an employee that doesn't necessarily work out. But that's where I think the fire faster comes into play, because you only interview people so much, right? And your gut tells you within the first 2 weeks if this person's going to be great. Anything after that is you saying, I think they're good enough, or I think I can train them to like this level, but they're not going to be great. You can tell pretty quickly. At least I feel like I can. And so, when we've had some of our A players come in, we knew right away. And I would say other people that we've brought in employee-wise that weren't like, oh my God, they're the best. They're really good people. The ones that we've decided to keep, like they're really good people, and we could over time build them into a role, but they're maybe not going to be like our number one salesperson or our COO or something like that, but they're going to be really, really rock star employees. But you can tell that based on personality, I feel like, really quickly.
For sure. And to your point, I feel like a lot of small business owners, you hear this conversation a lot. It's kind of a fallacy for them to say that they like waste time, trying to like train these employees or hiring all those sort of things. And I wouldn't say that it's a waste, because that's like how you learn how to do it better. Like, so going back to talking about the golf stuff, that's like saying, if you don't know how to hit a ball well, is it a waste of time to go to the driving range? No, of course not. That's where you go and you get more reps in. Hiring and training is the same thing. You get reps by doing it repeatedly. You will do it poorly, and it's funny. I would actually say, if you look, especially with our lending company, almost every single job that we've had in there, we are on like the second or third iteration of that role.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that with every single one, the first person we hired, we learned what we didn't want so we could hire the person that we actually did want.
Yeah.
Because we had a handful of people that only worked for us for like a couple of weeks, because when you're interviewing them, especially if it's a role that is kind of like new to you because your company's growing, you don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Right. And so you do the interview, their resume's good, they interview well, you bring them in. And then over like the next week, your gut kind of goes, I don't really think that this is the right person. So you like try to train them. Yeah. They sort of like show the real inadequacies, those sort of things. You get rid of them and you go, okay, so the next person, we don't want any of that.
Yeah.
We want a completely different. Exactly. Now I know.
Yes.
So
yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah. So it feels like a waste of time, but like that is learning.
It's part of it. And it helps you build the role that you do truly want. Because I would say in our industry with lending, there's pretty standard roles that people get plopped into. Like you could just put out loan processor or loan underwriter or loan officer. And there's like these boxes. But within those boxes, you got to build that role for your company so that it fits you and your uniqueness of your company. And so you have to learn what you do and don't want. Like I know for a lot of the back end people that process loans and stuff, I don't really need or want somebody from a big company that is, a Kiavi or something like that, because they're in a box and they're just like moving other blocks, like where we provide a much more, I would say, tailored, custom, I wouldn't say necessarily bespoke, but like experience for our borrowers. Like you go to Kiavi for a Kiavi loan. That's a totally different thing that you're doing, a totally different experience. I want somebody that can come with us and our borrowers give us messages like the one we got today from one of our loan processors from a borrower that was basically like, this is the first time I worked with you guys. This has been an amazing experience. Like, how do we give them that experience? And then in turn, our team has a really good experience. And then it's just a great place to come to work and like have fun, like building that team.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I want to dive in and look at that file where we got that, from that guy, because so often as a lender, people just complain because even if there is circumstances that delay closing through their title company or their insurance agent or even like the seller, everyone's just always saying like, oh, we're waiting for the lender's docs. We can't close yet.
Right?
Even though we're telling them we're waiting for the docs because the insurance company hasn't given us their insurance policy yet.
Yeah.
All they do is they talk to the closer and said, oh, wait for the lender. So we're always the bad guy. So we'll have to analyze that one and see.
Yeah, we got to see. Yeah, that'd be good. What we did so good on you. Because or the title company. Like the title company is the worst at throwing people under the bus. And there's some really bad title companies out there.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, they're just like the messenger for everybody. And the lender is the easy scapegoat because technically, I mean, no one else cares if the docs aren't correct except for us. Exactly. Like the title company doesn't care if the insurance docs are messed up or, the full seller conditions aren't like fully agreeable, right? They're just trying to collect their closing fee and get the docs to sign and then FedEx them back to us. So
100%. 100%.
Yeah. No, it's been a good learning experience overall. So we'll keep moving on. But that's also the nice thing about the virtual business I talked about last week is, we're still making money. We talk to a lot of different people right now whose like lives have been affected so greatly and they're having to stop work or those kind of things. It's a very, very challenging place to be right now when you deal with these kind of disasters. So
yeah, it really is. I mean, any like life circumstance, like major change for people. I mean, even having a kid is a big change, but we get so used to that as like, that's just part of life. Everybody has a kid and they still got to figure out how to do their role. But, we've had employees, we've had, very sick children and stuff like that. It happens, right? You got to live through that life disaster and figure out how to do that. And that's why I think having a really good team and I like to think great company to work for where, it's like, hey, take care of your stuff. We're built like where you and I are building a business that I think we would want to be employees at. where you work your ass off, but if you had a life circumstance that it was like, no, take care of your family or whatever, because we built a business where you are critical and we need you, but we also have resources around you to come rush in and work their ass off for you because they want to help you. And also that's just the kind of people they are. They're willing to do that.
For sure. And I think it's hard to find, especially with small companies. This is always the thing that's really interesting to me is talking to people that have these smaller companies and they're so strict around, time off or employee flexibility and that kind of stuff. Especially when it comes to VAs, like we've talked about this a lot, but how many guys that have like virtual assistants and they're like, oh, I was screen tracking my VA. I noticed he's only working 34 hours.
Like, what?
He's like, does anyone want him to do 6 hours of tasks for you? I'm like,
I doubt
you really think that your secretary sitting in there is working for 40 hours?
Yeah.
No.
Totally.
You spend 3/4 of the day scrolling social media like everybody else.
For me, it brings up two thoughts too. First is like, you hired a person to do a job and you budgeted and allocated X amount of dollars. Now, if they're not doing a good job within that amount of time, that's on them. And it's your job as the leader, or the owner, or the manager, or whatever, to fix that or get a new person, right? But if you hired them for 40 hours and you're willing to allocate a budget for 40 hours, but their job took 25 this week because they're that good, who gives a shit, dude? Until you give them additional work and additional things based on their performance, and anytime you start with a new person, especially in a virtual environment, it takes a while to scale them up because you have to train them virtually. Remember, when you're not on the call with them, they're sitting at home twiddling their thumbs or wherever they work from if they're virtual, right? And so that's on you. And it's really challenging because anytime I know I'm bringing people on, I'm like, okay, well, the next month is going to be really busy for me because I have to figure out how to train this person. And I can't, every time I let them just twiddle their thumbs until they have enough work to do, like they are just sitting there, right? And so I also like to, I guess, coach them ahead of time and say, hey, you're going to be really bored for a couple weeks. Just bear with me. It's not that 40-foot job, I promise. Anyway, the second thing is, I feel like today, as opposed to even a few years ago, the concept of like a virtual assistant or an assistant as we know it, right? Real estate guys, we're always talking about VAs and cold callers, and everybody has a virtual assistant doing some task, right, on their Google Drive for them. I don't even know if that role exists anymore, or it needs to exist. I think of it as like you're hiring a person from Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Philippines, India, wherever the hell you're hiring them from. And the ability for them to work within your business is just like any other person. So would you call, unless they're a true assistant, right? Like an executive assistant like that, but would you call, I don't know, pick one of our whatever loan processor virtual assistant? I wouldn't. I was just like, no, they're a loan processor, right? And so it's interesting how that dynamic has changed, I feel like rapidly. But then for us, I think too, as like business owners and understanding what their capabilities are and offering that growth internally for them, I feel like now you're just hiring professionally worldwide. And I think the combination of AI with any employee now, if they are capable of implementing it and using it, they're so powerful. It doesn't matter where the hell they're from. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, the knowledge gap has changed a ton because it used to be like you would just hire VAs to do like data entry, and now they can do everything. They can have in detailed conversations about high level topics. A lot of them have educational backgrounds that are relatively on par with US based one. What's actually funny too is what the good overseas people expect to be paid isn't even that different from a lot of the US states,
No, dude, it hasn't been. Yeah.
Yeah. So you think about when we used to work with Call Porter, it's our answering service for our company. So all those people, they were in the Midwest. Those people probably made less than we pay our VAs. They're probably making $8 an hour at a call center out there,
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah.
I agree.
Completely different sort of lifestyle that you can get with that though.
Oh, well, I don't know, man. If you could want to live in Indiana, you could probably live pretty good.
You think $8 in Indiana is similar to $8 in the Philippines? No way.
No,
but the reason I say that though is because
the
$8, the quality of life, meaning the person that it will ultimately attract is going to be much higher in those overseas places than in the United States.
Yes, dude, that is such a good point too. Think about this and I feel like since 2019, this has been asymptotic growth. You know what I'm saying? Asymmetrical growth.
Asymmetrical. I'd say asymptotic. Is that word?
Asymmetric.
Whatever. Asymmetrical.
You guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's compounding so quickly because of technology. And I just think culturally worldwide, the group at which you're hiring from is so different and so much bigger where And I think there's some mindset changes that how US workers are and small business owners are too. But my point is like when you're a 1%er in your country, you're just a different type of person to be able to get to 1% in your country. And my point too is like you like developing countries and third world countries, and you still have really, really poor pockets where there's really, really low education, but also areas where there are like those pockets that are really, really poverty stricken. There's still highly educated and highly qualified people. It's just a different world for them, right? But that person, we'll just use the Philippines, for example, because that's where we've recruited from heavily. Like that country itself, like their quality of life is different than what we would expect in the US. However, $8 an hour, $16 an hour, you get to $20 an hour in the Philippines, you're a 1%er. And to be a 1%er in the Philippines, there's still a shit ton of people that live there. You still have to be really, really good. You're not just some slouch as opposed to somebody that their alternative was working at a fast food restaurant or something. And usually I would put that as like a entry level role, right? But those are becoming more, you're a 35-year-old working at what would have used to be an entry level role just because the job market in the US and how things are changing. And because you have somebody in the Philippines for $20 an hour that's a 1%er rockstar, amazingly dedicated person. It's just such a weird change in dynamics of like how you're hired. It feels like it just flipped, dude. And it's not about like offshoring and stealing American jobs. It's about offshoring to find the most qualified person for your business.
True global economy. Like
Right?
It's no longer, the us and them, but it's definitely like fully merging. You're seeing that a lot.
It feels that way and it feels more acceptable, dude. And I even see it within like talking to our Filipinos because I've heard them say comments and I try to coach them out of this because I don't believe and I don't want them to believe this is like, oh, and I've heard these are like word for word comments. Oh, well, I'm just a Filipino. Like that's not a thing. No, like don't say that. Like stop that. Or another comment was made to me like just a few weeks ago was like, well, because, my accent or because of whatever, they might not believe me. And I was like, I don't give a shit what they think. Like that's not at all like even crossing my mind. And I reflected on that and I was like, maybe I'm more progressive than some people, but when I get a call from somebody that has like a bit of an accent, I'm not like caught off guard anymore. I'm just like so used to it. I'm not immediately like, oh, this is a scam, right? You know what I mean? Where that's the mindset, but I think it's shifting really quickly and to the point to where even like the overseas staff haven't caught up to that.
For sure. Yeah, it's more like universally acceptable. And now I'll find like a lot of our followers from people we work with, if we give them the number and say, oh, they're overseas, they're not like, oh, like it's not like a thing anymore. They just go, okay, cool.
No.
Yeah,
exactly. And they totally expect it and they're working with them and they know, and like it's pretty cool to see. I don't know. It's just the major observation I've made recently.
Totally. Do you know how many people live in the Philippines?
The total population?
Yeah, go ahead and guess.
Good. I was going to say 46 million.
Okay. You're low. I will tell you this. It is the 14th most populous country in the world.
So it's over 100 million.
Correct. It's 117.8 million people as of 2026. So there's a lot of people.
So just for context, that's like 350 in America.
Yeah, I think there's like close to 400. But yeah, like either way, like it's a very significant portion of the United States population. So to your point, like talking about like being a 1%er there, like that's a lot of people they're competing with.
Exactly. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's 342 to 349 million in the US. So yeah.
Nice.
It's about a third of the population.
Wow. Japan's like 100 and how many? Japan's crazy for how small an island that place is.
Yeah, it is for sure. And it's 122.4. So just a little bit more. It's not that many more.
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah.
So either way, there's lots of talent out there, and I think it's just an important thing to sort of keep in mind here as you're growing is you can really expand your search. And I would say one of the things, most of them will wrap this up, that has really shown how much more compressed it has gotten is now if I post a job listing on LinkedIn, I will get job applications from Filipinos on LinkedIn. Whereas traditionally you had to find them on like Upwork or like online jobs.ph or like virtualworkers.org or whatever, but now they're just like right in the same hiring pool as everybody else. And not only that, but they will apply for your job and they will have like 6 years of experience at a company. It's not like back when we started hiring VAs originally in like 2020, where you would just have someone that had done random stuff on Upwork and they couldn't, like, yeah, I worked for some guy and I did a spreadsheet for him. These are people that were like employees, for a very long period of time and know the corporate process and everything else.
Totally. I like having that opportunity to see the background, because I've noticed that as I've been looking for I've been strategically and intentionally looking for like Filipino underwriters, because I know they exist. Wells Fargo has offices there, Citibank, all these companies have offices in the Philippines. And there's people there that, I was a credit officer for 6 years at US Bank or something like that. And they're like, okay, why are you wanting to leave there? Like, well, because I don't want to go to the office anymore, because it's a 2-hour commute each way or something like that. They all have like a good solid. You're like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
okay,
it makes
good.
sense. I wouldn't.
It makes sense. I wouldn't want to do that either. You know what I mean? But they're seeking out, because they are top level performers, and they're seeking out the best employment, and they have options. Right. So they're like, well, I'm working for a US based company here, but I don't want to go to the office anymore. I know I have options. I have skills. I have education, all that stuff.
Yeah. It's like people do here, just like it's not that different. You think about it from living in the Midwest and working for like a big tech company out of San Francisco or New York or something.
Yeah.
It's probably even cheaper with how unbelievably expensive US travel is to get to the Philippines than it is to get to wherever that corporate office
is.
Is.
Yeah, bro. Don't even get me started on that, dude. Yeah. I'm paying for 4 tickets whenever I go anywhere now, dude. I can't do the lap baby anymore. I can't afford to fly anywhere in the US.
Yeah.
It's crazy how expensive it is.
You have to use one of those what are the companies that will like buy now, pay later, but aren't credit cards? Klarna. You start using Klarna for all of your tickets for your family. Just get your kids on Klarna, dude. You think your 7-year-old can use Klarna to pay for her tickets?
Dude, I'm gonna have my kids fall bankrupt by the time they're 12.
That's them problem. They shouldn't have made such poor financial decisions when they were little.
Seriously, idiot. Oh, you guys want to go on vacation? Well, guess what? You're gonna have to pay for it.
You're gonna use Kitty Klarna. Don't worry, it'll be fine.
Oh, dude. That's the next level. I mean, you got to go after these kids, dude. They're expensive and they're untapped. They have clean credit right now. Go after them.
Totally, dude. They're sitting there on Roblox. They're like, can I use Klarna to pay for my Roblox bucks? Yeah. All right, wrap this up. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. If you guys are crushing out there, I'll thank you next week. See ya.
See y'all.
This episode is sponsored by Sir Lancelot LLC, also known as SLA Capital, which, if you didn't know, is Dan and I's private lending company. So yes, we are sponsoring our own show, but what you going to do about it? It is our private lending company that offers hard money and DSCR loans to real estate investors of all types. So you can be a new investor, an experienced investor. You can be buying flips, you can be buying rentals, whatever. We can do everything. And not only that, but the rates that we offer are just as competitive, if not cheaper, than pretty much every other company out there. So whatever big company you've been working with, bring us their term sheets and I guarantee you that we can probably beat it. We have the same connections they do. We just don't have all the overhead and middlemen. So if you want to come and check us out, go to slacapital.com/keys and I will know that you came from the show. And by seeing that you came from here, when you get to closing, you will save $500 on your first loan with us. So slacapital.com/keys, we would love to fund your next deal. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you want more from us, you can shoot us a follow on Instagram. I am at Mike_invest. Dan is at InvestorManDan. And Dylan is at Dylan_does_deals. Shoot us a follow and send us a DM to let us know what you think of the show.